Miranda.
I'm Phoebe.
We're Quintessential Baker.
And so are you.
So, yes.
That's why you're here.
Yes. Okay, so today is Cinnamon Bun Day.
We've been making cinnamon buns and selling them at a local ice cream shop, Sweet Melissa's. And we were doing Sweet Melissa's every Saturday. And now that the spring has sprung,
ice cream season is getting in fuller gear. She's not doing that anymore, and so we took a break from it. But it was a great way to introduce our cinnamon buns and therefore the recipe to all of you. So those of you who've had a chance to try our cinnamon buns, like drop a comment, let us know what you thought. And those who haven't, now you'll be able to make them for yourself because the recipe is live on the blog.
They're super easy and delicious. You're going to love them.
And because I have been making a lot of cinnamon buns, I'm kind of tired of making and having to eat because they're in my house. So if anyone wants to show up in about half an hour and come try the cinnamon buns, come on over. But because I don't want to have a million of them, we're going to make a smaller batch. So the recipe on the blog has a full pan, a whole 13 by 9 pans worth of cinnamon buns. So like 12 or 16, depending on how many you want, what size you want.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to cut that down into a quarter batch. So cut it in half and then again. And what that gives you is a nice, manageable, like 4 bun batch. So this is a great way to just whip
and they're
these
big.
Up. They're big and they're filling. So this is a great way to have a small batch. Yes.
Are you going to have this quarter batch on the blog so that they can access this
I'm not, but the math is really easy.
Okay.
I might at some point.
Okay.
I was gonna do like a table, like I have done, like I did for the pizza, but I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
So I'll probably do that when that happens.
Yep.
I'm gonna say, hey, Julie and Nicole and everyone, welcome. All right, so I think we can go ahead and get started.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so this recipe.
Can we talk about our flour a little bit?
Oh,
totally. And the flour blend that we're using and where they can find the flour blend.
Yes, so this recipe calls for our nut-free blend. The nut-free blend and all the other blends are, the recipes are given in the baking guide. The baking guide is in our store on the blog.
Quintessentialbaker.com.
$10. That's it. You get all the recipes. You get a bunch of tips and tricks for how to make the recipes work. I will probably be tweaking that guide over time. So as I learn more things that I think you all need to know, I'll update the baking guide. And if you buy it now, you'll have access to all of the upgrades. So it's kind of a lifelong access.
Yummy, yummy.
Yeah, so easy peasy. You'll find out where you can buy the flours for the best. Nuts.com. They're awesome, and they sell the awesome flours that you need. So
so what's in this blend?
Yeah.
This is the nut-free blend.
Nut-free blend. So this is buckwheat and arrowroot, pretty much. And we are going to just, like I said, cut the recipe in half and then half again. So a quarter recipe is 150 grams of the nut-free. I've got it on the scale just to show you that that's what you're going to need to do. But we've already pre-measured just to save a little time. So 150 grams of nut-free flour in there.
Yum.
All right. And then we need psyllium.
Psyllium.
And that is 15 grams.
Powder preferred. You can use husk, but the powder is so fine that you can't.
The husk itself will leave little flecks. It'll still do the gelling action, the gluten-like behavior, but the powder is much more evenly distributed. And by weight, you can substitute them one for the other, but make sure it's by weight. Like you can't just do like a tablespoon of one. It's not equivalent to the other.
Great.
All right.
Which is why it's very important to have a scale in your kitchen.
Yes, very important. It's for consistency, for sure. Okay, so yeast. We use instant yeast because you can mix it right into the dry ingredients and you don't have to pre-proof it by adding water to it and letting it sit. So we like to do we need a half a tablespoon of the active dry / instant yeast, bread machine yeast.
I love this measure. A half a tablespoon. I don't have a half a tablespoon.
It's a teaspoon and a half if you don't have a half tablespoon measure. Okay, and then a tablespoon of sugar, which we've already pre-measured there. Okay. All right. So those are our dry ingredients, and then we're just gonna like mix them together so that they get all one color, no more like no little chunks of psyllium separate from the rest. So when it looks like all one color, you're done. Set that aside. So the next thing we do is we're going to measure out all of the liquid ingredients. And what we do, a kind of a interesting technique where you take your final measuring cup. For this quarter batch, I just need a cup's measure. If you're making the full batch, you'll need a whole quart measure because you need 800 grams, and zero that out. And then we're going to measure the weight of our egg because we do not want to have any inconsistency in terms of the hydration. So every egg is slightly different. So we're just going to crack this and see what it weighs. I've got my scale all tared out to 0. And this particular egg is 54 grams. So we are going to subtract 54 from our total weight of liquid that we want, which
Or
is,
just leave it at the 54 and go up to the 200 grams.
well, that's what you do if you've already preheated the water, which I have done.
Mhm.
So either way, it's like egg plus some quantity of water equals 200 grams of weight. So we've got some warm water already in here. So I'm going to do like what Phoebe said and just pour until it hits the 200. Slowing down as we get closer. Almost there.
Hope you all are enjoying your day. A little chillier here in Ithaca than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
We had a beautiful day yesterday.
It's like 70 degrees in my house.
So
Yeah.
nice.
All right, so that plus some oil, 2 tablespoons of oil. You can use whatever kind of vegetable oil that you like. I like olive oil, and I get the light olive oil, so the flavor is very mild. So one of those. And 2. Awesome. Okay. And then you just mix it up a little bit so that the egg is broken up a little, just to kind of get a jump on the mixing, since all of this happens very quickly once you start to mix them all together. You say, hi, Allison. He's joined us. Actually, I need that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so once this is sort of broken up and you can see that the yolk is incorporated, we're going to do that thing where we dump it all in all at once and mix. And you guys notice I don't have the stand mixer this time, and it's because it's a small batch and you don't need it for that. And even if you've got, don't have a stand mixer and you don't have any kind of mixer, you can mix it by hand.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to be fast and quick about it to break up any lumps.
Yep.
Totally done. All right. So here we go. All in, all at once. And just get it going.
Mix a.
Mix and mix. And now you guys can see how gooey that is, right? It's totally wet.
You're gonna be when you start baking gluten-free and using some of these recipes, and you're making something that's a dough, and you start adding the liquid and you start mixing, and you're gonna be like, I messed it up. Because I used to do that. I'd be like, I messed it up. Something's not right.
See how it's already starting.
But you have to wait. You have to wait because the psyllium is actually just gonna absorb that water, and it's gonna be fine.
Texture.
Yeah.
This is gonna seem, even now, it's gonna seem like, oh my gosh, there's no way that this is gonna be. How am I gonna roll this out?
Show them this a little bit.
It's starting to
come together.
Up. It's still very loose and juicy goosey, but we're gonna let it sit for just a few minutes while we prep the surface for rolling it out and everything, and we make our filling. So there we go. That is done, ready to just set aside while.
And even when I look at this, it's still quite wet. It's tacky. It's starting to tack up.
Yeah, you can see it's already
But
starting
it's
to
still,
get firm.
yeah.
It's like it doesn't want to really wiggle too much. So
Yep.
Good to go.
Woohoo.
Okay, so let's clean this off and
Okay.
get ready to make our filling.
Yep.
So we cut this down by a quarter. We're going to use a quarter cup of sugar. We've already measured that out. So we got our little bowl
Quarter cup
there.
of sugar.
I just realized we need a spoon to stir this with.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab that. And then we're gonna need a half a tablespoon of cinnamon. There's the magic half tablespoon of cinnamon. This is totally up to you as far as how much. If you make this one time and you're like, that's not cinnamony enough.
One time
more in.
I doubled the batch of sugar to go inside a big.
Yeah, full batch.
And it was a little too liquidy, but it was delicious. It
Oh
was
no,
so
you
good.
you doubled the oil. That's what it was. Here.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was gonna say about adjusting flavors, one thing I like to do sometimes is actually use essential oils. So I have cinnamon essential oil and I have cassia, which is actually the same species as what we call cinnamon is the cassia.
Right.
So anyway, these are another way, like one drop gives you a huge punch of cinnamon flavor and smell too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. And then we've got oil. Uh-oh. Did you throw away the oil? Right here. Yeah. We need one tablespoon of oil. And this is in lieu of like brushing the dough with butter or oil. You could use melted butter here if you wanted to. You could use melted butter instead of oil in the recipe as well. We're just going with the dairy-free version right now. Totally up to you. It's the great thing about making stuff at home. You can make it exactly the way you like it.
And I've used for all of this, I have used, actually, I haven't tried making it without the egg. Did I? Yeah.
Yes, we
made a vegan version. Yeah.
It requires a little bit more psyllium and a little bit more oil.
Yeah, but it worked out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did make them.
Maybe I do need to make a chart for the recipe page.
I think so.
Then I can have like vegan. You can even make this with the flour blends that have the almond flour. Like if you want the nutrition of the almond,
that before too.
You can totally do that. So I will make a chart with like multiple options, and sizes and stuff. So anyway, there's our filling. So it's just a little moistened cinnamon sugar. Yep, ready to spread out. So we'll set that aside. We have our work surface here. We're going to get it ready with some dusting flour. This is another recipe that is in the baking guide. Everything you need is in the baking guide. Go get you one. All right, so this batch, since it's not a full batch, it's not going to be very big. Like we're not going to need to roll it out. I'm actually not even going to use a rolling pin because it's so small. But it's going to be the same height, top to bottom, because you want the roll to be the same. It's just not going to be as wide because you're only going to have 1/4. All right, you guys got to see how this is like totally thick now.
Dough.
And I can touch it without it sticking to me. So that's what happens after it just sat 5 minutes. It hydrates and it's all ready to go. So I'm just going to dump that out into the floured area. Get all those bits. Save all the goodness. Okay, and then to keep it from sticking, since it is a little bit sticky, we're just going to sprinkle it with the flour. And then we're going to flatten it out to about... I'm
going to hold this up. Just because I think everybody would appreciate this.
Yeah. So about 8 inches top to bottom. And it doesn't matter too much how wide this is because you're basically just going to cut it into quarters when you put it into the pan. So we've got a little bit of a square. Doesn't need to be perfect, right? There we go. And then we're going to take the filling and we're going to dump it on there, just literally the whole quantity right on. And we're going to spread it all the way side to side. Like I just like to provide a little barrier with my hand here. And the important thing is that it goes fully side to side so that you're not shortchanging the end cuts on cinnamon sugar. It does not have to go all the way to the top, and it should not go all the way to the bottom because you need just a little bit of area to seal it off. All the way to the edges. All right, there we go. And then we're going to start at the top. We're just going to fold that over and then just start rolling. Kind of hold the edges in, like you might lose some cinnamon sugar. It's really okay. But just kind of do that until you basically come all the way over on top of the seam, the end. And like I said, you're going to lose a little cinnamon sugar. It's okay. And then what we're going to do is cut it in half and then cut each of those halves in half. And you would do this if you had the full batch, it would be out to like here, right? Because you would have made a big rectangle. And you would just do the same thing. Cut that in half, and then you have 4 sections. And then each of those 4 sections you could cut into 3 or 4, depending on whether you want 12 or 16 of the full. But we're just going to do 4 for the small batch. So this is, it's kind of sticky. So I'm using a very sharp knife, or you could use a serrated bread knife. And I'm not pushing down. I'm wiggling, like I'm sliding it across very quickly and lightly. If I push down, I'll deflect, I'll like squish the circle. So just quick. There we go. All right, Phoebe, I don't think we need to have that anymore. Yeah, so you can see what's needed. So we're going to take our pan. This is a 6-inch cake pan. It's a good size for the 4 batch. If you're making a half batch, it would be like an 8x8 square pan. And if you're making the full batch, it would be a 13x9 pan. And we need our aprons.
I know. I don't.
Okay, so we're gonna want to butter or oil the pan.
This is my job,
yeah,
fellas. This is my job.
Go for it. Okay, a little bit here.
I got this.
She's an expert.
I got this.
All right.
Don't forget the corners all the way up because it's gonna come up.
It's gonna fill the whole pan. Yep.
And you're gonna want to get them out.
Yeah,
You're gonna want to eat them.
That's right. All right.
Okay,
I think we're good. I think we're okay, we're good. Okay, here's a trick. The end pieces, when I pick them up, I put them in with the uncut side down because this is the difference. Kind of funky looking. Ooh, look at that pretty, right? You want the pretty up. So I put that off to one side, and I kind of like to even it out. So I do the same thing with the other one and just put that on the other side so they're like across from each other. And then these two in the middle it doesn't matter, same side, or both sides is the same. So they go in. And then you're going to see how there's still a lot of space. So what we're going to want to do, we're going to do this now because we're not going to make you guys wait around for it to be all completely done. But once they've risen, you brush them with some fresh oil or butter. We're going to do that now just to get it done. And I'm going to wash my hands while you do that, baby.
Okay. Everybody, this is how you oil your buns.
Oil those buns.
See? Just a little dab. You don't want to scrape too much.
Right.
It kind of takes it all off, all the cinnamon.
Yep.
So I just kind of dab it. I even get around on the sides a little bit.
We kind of want to moisten the areas where there's flour.
Yeah.
Because that way they'll be a little more attractive. They won't have that baked on flour look.
It's so pretty. They just look so nice. All right. It looks so gorgeous.
Okay, Tommy says it looks good. Thank you.
Okay. And then
we just cover it loosely with a little piece of plastic and set it aside in a warm area in your kitchen.
Or a tea towel you can use.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, the tea towel will end up potentially sticking to it. That's why I like to use plastic and just lightly. I'm not trying to like seal in, make it airtight. I'm just trying to keep a bit of the warmth and the moisture inside.
Yeah.
So we're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees. And my oven takes about 20 minutes to get fully up to temperature. Yours is probably similar, but the idea is that basically about the time that the oven is fully hot and ready to go, the buns will be ready to go in. To look, like I said, they're going to not really fully double in size, but they're going to touch each other. They're going to fill
that
in
space
all the way in. They'll be right at the top of the pan. They'll look good.
And then when you put them in the oven and they'll poof a little more in the oven. So
Yep.
they're pretty fun.
All right, so we have a batch that I made earlier, and these are what they look like when they come out of the oven. So when your buns are ready to go in, they go in for 30 minutes at the 375. And then
So I want to show what the difference is here.
This batch I actually made with the almond flour.
And
this is a little bit different looking.
So look at how much that fills in.
Yeah.
It totally fills that. And what size pan is this?
This is a 6-inch.
A 6-inch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any size that's kind of about this volume and this size will work. So if you don't actually have a 6-inch, you could even use a bread pan, like a long rectangle. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't really matter.
Yep.
All right. So
Totally
basically,
true.
when they're out of the oven and they're cool, you can wait until it's like warm to the touch, but not like hot anymore. It kind of depends on how you like your icing. Do you like your icing to be like gooey and melt into it? You put it on when it's
or
a little
like
bit
cake
more
frosting, you like it a little
you want
thicker.
it thick. Yeah.
You know what I wanted to mention also about the pan sizes?
Yeah.
Is you can cook these individually as well.
Oh yeah, you can set them right on a tray.
Yeah.
Cook them.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention
They
that.
might be a little like they don't go as high. They
Mhm.
spread out more wide, but they're still delicious. So the icing is, and we're not going to show you how to make this because it's so simple and we made it before, and it's all good. But I did want to show you what the texture would be. So this is basically just powdered sugar, I use cream and vanilla and a little bit of salt. You can use any kind of liquid that you want. If you want it dairy-free, we've used coconut cream. Like, so
Coconut
that
cream.
top layer.
And that
you
comes
could
out great.
You could use coconut milk, but it'll need a little bit less volume of
We've
that.
used coconut oil. We've used that coconut oil
To make this kind of icing? Well, to make buttercream.
To make buttercream icing.
Yeah. You can make
any icing.
Any kind of icing you want. Like some people like cream cheese.
You could also, if you like extra cinnamon, you could put like a drop of essential oil or more cinnamon in here.
Yeah.
Or ginger or something. Ooh.
Oh my God, there's so many options. There's so many variations to make.
Could you imagine?
Cardamom buns, orange buns with like chopped up candied orange peel and then an orange flavored.
Why didn't we do that today?
Because it's cinnamon bun day.
I know.
But you can go home and make all the kinds of things. So anyway, you're going to take a little icing and just spread it across the top in the way that you like. And it can be as much or as little as you like. And like our friend Amy likes extra icing.
Yeah, Sagan would be like the extra icing person.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go crazy with it because like if there's a little extra over here, whoever wants more can always add it on. So there's the cinnamon buns, you guys.
Yay!
And so, yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Totally.
If anybody has any questions, you can always send us an email or send us a message. Or
just comment on this video. This video will end up over on YouTube on our channel. You can comment over there. You can comment on the blog itself, on the, Alice and cardamom. Totally. The kids have a thing against cardamom. I don't know, but anyway, totally you can do that. What was I saying? Comment on the blog, comment on the YouTube channel, comment on this video here. It doesn't matter. Send us an email, quintessentialbaker@gmail.com.
We want to encourage everybody to kind of put our name out there and support us, either through buying the baking guide or sharing our videos. The more subscribers that we get on YouTube, we might move over there once we get like 100 subscribers. But thanks for joining us today. That was fun. Totally. Cinnamon buns are awesome.
Oh, and by the way, we'll probably do that little thing where we go live before we go live and we'll have a dance party because that's what we were doing while you guys were waiting. We were over here like sending out messages to everybody and dance party.
Thinking that it would be great if we just put the speaker there and we just didn't even block it.
We won't talk to you. We won't say anything, but we'll do our dance party.
Have our dance party going on and you guys can join us. It'll be fun. I wish that we could see everybody. It's kind of weird, you know, because I can see people who are commenting, but I can't see all of you. So hi, everybody. Yeah, hi, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes. All right. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Next week is bagels.
Bagels. What?